You went on a cruise. We didn't even get to talk about it yet.
No, we haven't. Where'd you go on a cruise to?
Bermuda?
Oh,
You ever been to Bermuda?
Yeah.
Pink Sands.
It's crazy,
gorgeous.
Man. The roads and the scooters.
Yeah.
It's like you got to have a daredevil in you to drive around there, and if you're not on a tour bus.
Did you ride a scooter?
No.
Oh, well, Bermuda is where the infamous scooter dude
What? That was Bermuda?
Bermuda.
Oh, no. Scooter
Took his ride. Rode off with my fiance.
Me and you laughing about it.
Oh, God. Oh,
Scooter dude.
It'll never happen to me.
He'll never fucking get her. Never. She loves me.
Meep, meep. What was that?
Oh, you're so much better for it, man.
Yeah,
But wow, what a fucking angry young man. Like a couple months, I had to fucking nurse a Q back to fucking a state of stable mental health.
Story. People won't know what you're referencing, right?
No, I've told the story a couple. Definitely at a live show.
They told it at the live show, yeah.
Yeah.
Where somebody on a scooter. Was there a Bermudian?
Well, no.
Hey, man! That's what a Bermudian sounds like. You look unsatisfied, girl. Up on my scooter.
I feel positive. We had to have told it.
I know we definitely talked about it very briefly at the Ohio
Can you
show.
tell a condensed version so people know, or you don't want that?
No, I don't mind. I don't mind telling the story, but I just feel, fuck it, we'll tell it again.
He's like, I used to watch Pawn Stars and kiss her, go to bed, do the same thing the next day.
Best life ever. A young 24-year-old me.
Real condensed version.
It actually is really great. Like,
it's. I mean, when it's all over, I mean.
Oh.
What did she what was she doing?
I mean, she's just happily married with 3 kids and a nice house, a couple of cars, some pensions. She definitely lost.
what a jerk. But is what she said to you, and I remember you called me immediately after it happened.
What was it?
When I guess she went out dancing with her friends, and you were, yeah.
Well, what happened was I was engaged very young.
How old were you when you were
I was
engaged?
like 24.
How old were you? How long were you courting this?
Well, I was with her since I was 18.
So 6 years.
Yeah.
My high school sweetheart.
Yeah. It was going to be special. And
we were different.
This is definitely, I think, this is the bat flying, or this is the Bruce Wayne seeing his parents murdered.
It set off a lot of.
This is what spawned the cue that we all hear. You know, fingering anything that walks.
This is the monster she created. Yeah.
It was
Anything that walks. Come here. Can I have a finger you?
So I've struggled with of course various levels of depression over the course of my life, and I had hit like a major one at that point. And
what prior to the wedding?
6 months. This all went down. This night I'm about to tell you about was 6 months before the wedding.
And you were in the throes of a deep depression,
beyond throes,
and you didn't know what it was.
It was just
impending. Was it like you didn't know? If
it was
right
in
move?
Retrospect. It was. Yeah,
And a lot of it was your job.
Yep.
Hated this job.
What was his job at the point?
I was selling signs for a. Yeah, exactly. for like a.
No, I wouldn't mean that.
It was like the office. They sell paper.
Yeah.
Same job, but I sold signs, and I didn't have wacky,
you didn't
endearing office mates at all.
You had to hit the pavement to sell these signs.
No, it was worse, really, because you were in a cubicle making phone calls to people who didn't want your phone call.
Hello, sir.
Are you in need of safety signage?
Oh, it was safety signs?
Yeah, it was safety signs. It was like...
Have you cracked your skull open inadvertently?
So I would call pipeline companies. You need to put a certain amount of signage out so people don't dig it up. I would try and sell it to them. Telephone companies, like those numbers on the poles. Construction companies, wear your hard hat.
How beaten down were you when you calling these people? Like,
I mean, words.
Did you have the attitude that you should have had to be doing this job, or were you doing it as I may imagine?
I was Johnson-esque in my approach to the job. So, and the guy who fucking ran the company was a total fucking crazy person. And he was like, he installed the program on a computer that every time we made a phone call, we had to log into the computer and put in who I had called, what was the outcome of the conversation. And if you didn't have enough phone calls, he would call you in his office and yell at you. If you had If you had too many, he would call you in the office and say that you were lying and faking the phone calls. So you had to find a sweet spot in the day. And if I called 50 people in a day, 2 would even get past the fucking the phase.
And how much could you make a week selling these signs?
Depends. It depends on how you, there were people in the company who made a lot who supported families on it because they gave a shit.
But that's it seems to be shouldn't these businesses already have these signs?
Yeah, but
do they need some fucking schlub on the other on a 1-800 line telling them that they need these signs to work?
I will say,
are your signs wearing out, sir?
The signs that were made that this company made, it was called Tech Products. The sign that they made were fucking. The guy who had made the signs patented the way the signs were made, and they will last forever. They'll be here with the cockroaches when the world ends.
Right, but unless it's like a fluorescent arrow saying, "Don't put your hand under this saw." I mean, how is it really going to?
No, it wasn't like I said, like jet fuel pipelines and stuff like that. Or
you put him in the position of now defending his job.
No, not at all. I've always said this about the place. They made fucked up those telephone pole numbers. They'll last I can't believe I remember this, but the aluminum ones will last 7 years. These ones, I'm telling you.
How proud he was of his product.
No, I wasn't.
Other companies, 3-4 years at best. But I remember we were in Key West and just we saw it's like a silver band, like an aluminum band with numbers on it, and you'd be like, "That's Tech Products." It was called, right?
Yeah, Tech Products.
That's Tech Products sign. Yeah. No, dude, no pride or anything.
No joy. Man. It was fucked up.
All right, so you're selling these signs.
So I'm selling these fucking signs, and I'm engaged, and I don't want to be engaged. But
you haven't admitted it to yourself that you don't want to be engaged.
Maybe
you
not.
admitted it to me.
I have philosophies and stuff like that, and getting married. But you're with someone for a long amount of time, and it's expected. And I was too young to know better and shit like that. And she was great. I'm not putting her down at all. But it was fucking. And every day the wedding approached, I was like I'm fucked up.
And is she resenting the fact that you're you're grumpy? You're fucking. You're not the happy dwarf you should be. You're grumpy. Yeah. What's those things? Snow White.
Well, she was 6'1", so I guess she
could
have called me a dwarf.
In stature, I meant don't be the dwarf.
Yeah, I was
happy and grouchy.
Q.
She had her pick of 7 dwarfs, and she picked
the one who made Grumpy look chill.
So I'm like, but it got to the point where it's like I'm suicidal, and I'm like,
really?
It's like I mean, Brian will tell you, I was like,
it was pretty bad. Yeah.
It was like I don't even want to live. I don't want to face this future that I'm facing, and I don't know how to get out of it because I don't have the tools or the experience to know I can just walk away from something that's not making me happy. But I was like, oh man. So I was like, I gotta do something.
Plus, you had an engagement party, and it's like you say, once that ball's rolling and people have expectations,
very hard.
Family,
Wedding invitations are out. We're 6 months away from the fucking wedding. So I'm actually all right. So we went on separate vacations. I went to Key West
right away, right?
Nah, not really. It wasn't. I mean, it is, I guess, because.
But I mean, even who does that though? Who goes on separate vacations?
No, what happened was her friends that she grew up with, their family go every year on this cruise, and she went with them most years, so she went with them on that year.
Okay.
And I was like, well, fuck it, you're going out of town. I'm going to go to Key West with Brian. So we go to Key West, and we had a good time, and. I'm not known for my cheating, right? You could attest to that. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't do anything. And I didn't really speak to her for a week And then at the end of both our trips.
Is that not strange every day?
She's
it
on
goes by?
she's on a cruise.
Okay,
yeah.
that makes sense.
And this was
Mike couldn't get hold of me either.
Yeah, and this was before cell phones really and shit like that.
Mike was wondering. I was like, he better not be scooting around with some other comic book store owner.
So we're driving up the Keys on our way back to the airport, right?
Yeah.
Like when the trip was over, and finally I got her on the phone, and I could just tell.
Really? You knew it right away?
Did I not know it right away?
Yeah.
Got back in the car, and I said, I don't think she cheated on me. I was like, but she's got something to admit to me. I could tell.
How could you be that perceptive?
He wasn't immediately started calling her a cum rag.
No, I didn't call her cum rag. You called her a cum rag. You didn't call her cum rag. You called her a Puerto Rican cum rag.
Well, you didn't stop me, so.
But we laughed and laughed because then it became like she was on vacation and there was some Puerto Rican guy there, and then that was it. She fucked. No, this was his.
Oh, okay.
This was Brian's story.
You're helping him, I see.
Yeah.
I'm talking him down.
What a friend.
And he was delighting in the fact that she cheated on me, fucked this guy, and he pumped twice and then came. Do you remember any of this? It was like. He was like, he didn't make her come. He just used her and walked away.
She's a Puerto Rican cum rag.
So that's how my friend's handling it. But I wasn't worried because I was like, I knew she wouldn't cheat because, like,
right. And you're still in Key West then when you talk to her?
Yeah, but we're on the way home. Like, we're driving up the Keys. I had found the payphone or whatever.
Two can play at that game. Started sucking a cock right away.
Puerto Rican cock. So I get home and it comes out that she...
How quickly?
Very quickly. It was right
the
away.
First hour?
There was nothing wrong. Like she
okay.
was like, look, she's like, I just want you to know that my friend's cousin came on this cruise, and you know what I mean. And everybody was there. I just hung out with them, and when everybody ran around the scooters, and this is where the scooter dude part comes in. She was like, I would just ride on the scooter with him, and that was it. And she said that was it, and whatever. It's like I still believe that was it. It didn't matter to me. And I'm not a jealous person, so it didn't bother me really. And I had my own problems going on with my own fucking head and stuff like that. And I was like, whatever. I mean, I don't think I was thrilled about it, but I wasn't like, you fucking bitch, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Like, whatever. What are you going to do?
She told you.
She told me. She rode on a scooter with this guy. So
The most demeaning of all forms of transportation when cheating.
Yeah, it's not like the back of a limo or in a champagne glass pool or
it's a rented scooter.
what are those pools in limos that they have those?
Oh, yeah, the hot tub.
The hot tub, yeah. She didn't need anything fancy.
So, all right.
A little bit of go-kart.
A unicycle or some shit like that. All right, so that was that, and I'm having these feelings, and I think at the time I villainized her a lot for this, but I think I probably would have the same reaction to her now that I did then, that she did to me then. One night I sat her down and I was like, look, and I was like crumbling before her. Like I was like shaking. I was like all depressed. I was fucked up back then, unlike now. And I said, this is how I'm feeling. I wasn't like, this is related to getting married or this is because of you. It was straight up like, I'm depressed. I feel like a failure. I'm working a job I hate. I have no prospects, all this shit. And the only reason I kept working the job is because I was getting married. I was like, okay, what am I going to do? I got to fucking support a family. Kids, another thing I don't want. Like, and I got to pay for that shit too. So I told her all this and she didn't react that great. She's like, I'm going out with my friends. And we were in our apartment at the time. We just the week before moved into this apartment.
So you that's not the response you were hoping to get. You wanted support in your...
A little bit of support, what I thought would have been nice, but there was none.
Right.
And in fact, I remember she was like, I said, look, maybe I got to go into therapy or something like that. And she was like, 6 months before my wedding, my fiance is telling me he needs to go into therapy. How's that supposed to make me feel? And I was like, oh, this one is wrong as it could have gone. I mean, how does it make you feel? It's not about you, but you know what I mean? I didn't even know to articulate that at the time. So
maybe it's a feeling of like, I don't make him happy. He's miserable.
Sure. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to villainize her.
Right.
Like,
I think that may be like a defensive thing of like, wow, you're this miserable. Like, we're getting married. You should be happy.
Right.
Why are you not like Why aren't you walking on a little, like an inch above the ground?
Sure. And she would be right to feel that way, I think.
Now give me $4. I want to fill up my man's gas tank.
So she went out with her friends, and I was left in the apartment, and I was sitting there, and I was like, I thought I had hit rock bottom. Like, she handed me a jackhammer and was like, no, keep going. I'm going to go out with my friends. So she went out with her friends, and I was just sitting there for about 2 hours, and the phone rang. I pick it up, and it's her, and I was like, I don't think
I've ever heard this story. You told this story?
I told this on stage, yeah.
On stage? Was I there?
You were there. It was the mashup we did in Ohio. Me, you, Mosier, and
it wasn't in depth,
Kevin.
where is it?
It was pretty in depth, I thought.
I thought so too. Well, you thanked Moj and I for
yes.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry
for keeping you fucking off the ledge.
No,
I don't recall. Did we ever play this show for people then? The mashup?
Maybe not. It doesn't matter. It's a fascinating story. I'm sure.
Great. This is like. This should be a movie, Lifetime.
Sure.
Or True. If they want to do it.
Starring Les Gold.
Is he Q or Scooter Guy? Les?
He's a Scooter Guy. Boy.
He scooted into her life.
Yeah.
Go ahead, though. So she calls you. What happens?
A Bermudian cruise.
I'm on the edge of. I'm not kidding. I am. I really. I don't know this story.
So she calls me and goes, and I'm like, this is it. Like, she thought
give me
about
what
it.
I'm looking for.
She goes, could you do me a favor? I have to get up early tomorrow. Could you go to the store and get me some bagels so I have something to eat for breakfast tomorrow?
It was like 1:30 in the morning.
It's 1:30 in the morning. And I hear all her friends fucking partying in the background. There's like music playing. They're in a bar somewhere on Staten Island. And she asked me to go and get her bagels. And
Here's some motor revving in the background.
What do you do?
I was like, well, I don't remember. I don't remember what I said to her. I know I didn't get the bagels, but I wasn't like, fuck you or anything like that. Whatever I said, like, I'm not
Where are you going to find bagels at 1:30 in the morning?
Oh, it's New York. There's bagels all the time.
Staten Island.
Yeah. It's the bagel capital of the world. So she comes home right around 2, and we get into bed and we go to sleep. And I'm lying in bed and I'm like, now I'm getting angry. Now there's a fire in me. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with her? I was like, whatever her reaction is, why are you calling me, asking me to get you bagels? like it was fucking bagels. I was like, that's so fucked up. So I got up out of bed and I'm looking around the apartment that I basically just moved into. And I'm seeing, I didn't have a ton of possessions there, but I had one statue of the Joker. It was
Holding the skull?
No, it was a bust of him holding a balloon in
Batman's head. I remember that one. That's a great statue.
Yeah, I still have it somewhere. It's in my attic. So he's got the pin in one hand, right? And I look at that, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, this is all I need, and I'm out of here. So at 2:30 in the morning, I took the Joker statue, and I walked out. And the next day, she called me. She was like, hey, you didn't tell me you were leaving last night. And I was like, I just unloaded. I was like, are you fucking insane? I was like, who does that to someone? I was like, I said, we got to reevaluate this. And that was it. I only saw it 3 times after that night.
So wait a minute. You said it was over?
Over.
The wedding was over. What was her reaction?
She was stunned. She was blown away by it. And then I think like 2 days later, like she was like, she didn't like. I called her to talk to her about it, and she was like, "Nah, I don't want to."
And then her whole family turned against you and started calling you a jerk.
God, her whole family turned against me. Her brother saw me in public and refused to talk to me. Like I said, he didn't even turn his back on me. He goes, "I have nothing to say to you," and like they started like bad mouthing me to people and stuff. But again, I understand. You know what I mean? Like from their point of view,
it's touchy, yeah.
Sure. And the joke immediately became that this guy had scooted around the island with her. And then Brian came up with a character called Scooter Dude, who, if I wanted to go to the movies, he was riding up and down the aisles of the movies, like, so I couldn't watch the movie. Like, I'd be online at the bank and he'd just be circling around me on the scooter, just honking at me with my ex-fiance.
So the Scooter Dude never actually was anything then. He was.
Whoa!
Whoa! There's more.
Listen to the postscript.
A PS.
So the Scooter Dude actually, it all comes back. The Scooter Dude actually was a linchpin in the
Less
story?
than 6 months after that night, they were engaged. And they got married less than a year after we broke up.
Scooter dude,
and my ex-fiance.
Wow, that's a great story. Not a great story, but I mean for the listeners.
It's a great story. Yeah,
the listeners.
So for years,
you can't put up some ads. You can't put up with some ads for that kind of human drama.
Yeah. This guy's paying his own gas and tolls every fucking week after week after week
to rip his heart out.
Yeah, and it's just like I don't want to sit through Hulu Plus. Fucking dick.
Speaking of Hulu Plus,
yeah.
What do we got? So I mean, that's it. That's the saga of Scooter Dude.
All right. Well, I'm gonna. How do I follow my cruise going to Bermuda with that from that kind of high end drama?
Yeah.
You know, the highs and the lows. Right.
It was rough, Walt. It was rough.
Yeah.
And like I said that night on stage, without Johnson and Mosier, I never would have gotten through it. Never. I say it.
You wouldn't think it by the way I was supporting him, but
it does seem odd that was the initial way you thought for the therapy.
It worked.
You had to keep him laughing, though. I mean, because you were really angry and upset, and like it was a cue that like you would not even recognize today.
It was really 2 months, and you know what? And Sal and Stacey, it was the four. I say it all the time for you. Like it was like Sal was there night after night at my house. You know what I mean? You were there every day. I would be like, every day I'd be with you because I quit my job. I quit the sign company. I was like, fuck this. I was like, I'm not staying here. 2 weeks later, I quit the sign company.
2 weeks?
Yeah.
Oh, you're giving you 2 weeks.
I was like, I'm done. I'm like, I'm out of here. And I gave 2 weeks.
Not that good. Not that good. Didn't you piss on their building?
Yeah, I got drunk one night and pissed on the front door of it. So it would be Johnson during the day. We would go to lunch every day, and I would go to Sal. I would either be out with Sal that night or Stacey that night, and they would just fucking flat out nurse me through the whole thing. I'd be on the phone with Mosier. It was a really intense few months. So, there you go.
Did you see any shenanigans of the like when you were there?
Oh, no.
Any
trip?
Any Puerto Ricans scooting around with other people's ladies?
No. I mean, I was going to tell you about why their houses why the roofs are painted white. But that's really the only thing. I don't have anything other than that to tell you. Any kind of tidbits like that. Like, you know, every house has a white roof. I thought I'd come back and wow you with that. But
I think I know the answer.
Kind of pales. No.
To that human drama. They're not going to make a Lifetime movie about white roofs.
Oh, and actually, do you remember the one time I spoke to her in all those years? We had one email exchange. Do you remember this? We happened to be in Key West.
Yep.
You and I. And she the timing was so bizarre. She accidentally emailed me something. Like a blank email, right? I think it was. And I was like, hey, I think you meant to send it wrong. How are you? And she was like, I'm fine. And da-da-da. And later that night, we were drunk in a tattoo parlor. And there was a tattoo of a scooter. So I took a picture of it with my phone and I sent it to her. And she took it in good thing. She was like, haha. She was like, very funny. So that's the saga of Scooter.
Buy me bagels.
Yeah, where are my bagels, cunt? I don't know.
You're a better man for it. And that's why if you suddenly feel yourself getting fingered and you turn around, cues there.
Bon Jovi playing.
That's why.
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people listening, you know, they're going through maybe some hard times and romantically. So, you know, if Q, you got through it.
Oh man,
we'll all get through it.
I went
right?
from that.
The dark time. There's always it always gets better.
Fuck yeah! I'm going into the third season. Just got picked up for a third season of a TV show.
The listeners, they might not have that kind of.
Just got a second series.
Can
what?
You relate a little bit more to the common man now, like you did back when this happened to you.
They're flying me out first class.
Getting their hopes up.
San Diego Comic-Con this week. I'm getting flown out first class, so things get better. Everybody, it's all right. You know, just.
No, I mean, really, some real words.
Yeah, I mean, look, fucking my grandfather. I said this. I've said this on the show before. I know it. My grandfather said this to me about women, but it's not just about women. It's about relationships and heartbreak in general. He said it about women. Apply it to men as well because it's all the same. Women are like plates. You drop it, you break it, it ends. Just reach up, you get another plate, eat off that plate. Get sick of that plate, you just get another plate.
You smash it.
You just don't smash it.
He was an angry drunk Irishman.
He was Italian. Like, don't sweat it. Just fucking hold on, man, and
Hold tight.
Hold
Better
tight.
days are around the corner.
You know what? Grab your Joker statue.
Whatever that may be.
Hightail it the fuck out of there.
Could be whatever
That's
your
right.
Joker statue may be.
Get the fuck out of there. Quick.
It ain't going to be easy at first.
No.
It never is, but
I had to move back into my parents' basement. No job because I quit the sign thing. Had nothing in my name but a Joker statue.
Man, I don't even have the Joker statue.
Yeah, it's somewhere.
That'd be sweet.
but things will always
Yeah.
get better.
Yes. Always.
And,
If we're talking strictly about fucking like people consider you suicide and shit like that, like you're not ending the pain, you're ending the opportunity for things to get better. So don't do it.
I never heard that before. That's deep. Did you come up with that?
I've heard it before. I didn't come up with it, but it applies. All you're gonna do is end the opportunity.
Huisms.
There you go, man. So stick with it, and
It's inspirational.
there you go.